Okay, so this is kind of how it looks.
Okay.
I like the plants. I like that we're there. I like here. Okay, so, and I can hear. Okay, we can hear us.
We can hear us. Could it go right up in here even?
Yeah.
Is that because it would be in the screen or in the shot then, but
It lied.
perfect. Look at that.
Okay. Hi, Kaya Candelaria here with Kaya Varies, Kaya PMU, and I'd like to introduce you guys to the next in my series of women badasses I'm going to be interviewing. Her name is Adrienne Savelli, and you run Suburban Succulents here in Vancouver, Washington. And just look at how amazing, look at how beautiful these are. They're beautiful. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started,
Sure.
what you do, and we'll talk about how we met and everything.
Cool. So, got started when we moved here about a year ago. Actually, yeah, a little bit over a year ago now.
Yay.
Yeah, we moved here, and both my husband and I didn't have a job, so we were like, what are we gonna do? And we moved a whole bunch of plants up here. So, with that, Suburban Succulents was born. We had a ton of succulents, needed to do something with them, and thus company. So I went to school for business, so I've always wanted to.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, business management. I guess it's business admin, but then they call it like emphasis in management, but I think it's just fancy talk. Whatever. Anyway, I've always wanted to run my own show. That's always been my things from a little girl. I've always set up shops and like little play stores and whatnot. So for me, seems like it's a natural progression of what's going on with the company. But yeah, we started Suburban Succulents not really knowing what to expect. We'd found Night Market Vancouver. We found just farmers markets in general that we could go to sell at, and tried to start working with the community to get into those places. And yeah, so we started at Night Market, went there a few times, learned what people want in the area. We've had to kind of change our game plan a few times we don't really need to sell little tiny baby succulents because not everyone wants little tiny baby succulents. We need to have larger succulents too, and other types of plants. So like currently we're moving towards doing some more house plants as well. In the PNW, succulents are not really it's not the best plant for the environment, and it's too cold here in the winter time. Actually it's great during the summer and springtime. So either way, not everyone loves succulents as much as we do, so we're trying to stay current in our market and offer plants that people do want. So like snake plants are a very popular thing right now. Pothos are common house plants. People want them. We want to be the company that can supply them to everyone.
Yeah, we met at Night Market, and it was actually really cool because I saw your guys' little stand, and it was so dang cute. And I'd been going to a Night Market because it's in downtown Vancouver. That's where I'm located at as well. So we just like hop by every first. I miss you, by the way, man.
Yeah,
like
it's been a long time.
I was like, that was her spot. You gotta move. No. But yeah, it was really cool, and you were very friendly and super kind. In fact, when I was reading on your website, you go the extra mile, and you want to take care of the plant even after you've sold the plant to the person. Make sure it stays alive, it's happy, healthy. I have like 3 of yours. I am trying to keep them alive. I mean, it's
a struggle. It's an absolute struggle. We kill plants all the time. Like it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. So it's really just learning how to properly care for the plant, what it wants, and not giving it too much love.
But I thought that was really neat because you even had like you gave me a care package whenever I bought the baby thing, and of how to take care of it, and where to go, and to call you anytime. So I just thought that's the extra mile that it shows that you really do care a lot about your business, about plants, about everything that goes into that, and caring for something that is really living, because they're all living and they're beautiful.
Yeah, something I've learned over the years of
Excuse
customer
me.
service is you have to go above and beyond for people, or your company's never really going to grow huge, because if you don't have that trust with your customers, they're not going to come back to you. You know, I go to Home Depot often for my other job, and people are buying up succulents there left and right, and they're having to go back and buy them again and again because they keep dying. And you know, when you have that personal touch behind it, when you buy it from a local business or someone who actually cares about those plants, they're going to give you that. You know, it might cost you a tiny bit more to get those plants, but you know they've been taken care of well. They don't possibly have nasty chemicals and bug killers or whatever that these big box stores have. So I think that personal touch is, yeah, I'm glad it didn't go unnoticed. That's nice.
Yeah. So talk about how you got into plants. You said, did it have to do with your mother, I think you were telling me?
Well, my mom's always been into planting. I believe it was like a horticulture degree that she got,
Oh, wow.
one of her degrees that she did. And she moved to human resources later on. A little bit more money in that versus, you know, anyway. So she's had me in the garden with her since I was a baby, like very, very young. So I've been around plants my whole life. I hated it as a kid. I think it was, you know, one of those rebellious things of like, screw you, Mom.
Same
like,
thing. I
screw
did
you.
not with plants, but with clothes. Different 90s clothes that are coming back. Anyway,
yes,
go
they
ahead.
are coming back. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm like seeing all these young teenagers who look like friggin' should be watching or coming right out of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and I'm like,
And I hated it. I hated every minute. My mother used to have like those cool dresses that had buttons all the way down, that straight look, and and I was like, I'm never gonna have any of your clothes. Like they're ugly, you know, they're mom's clothes,
Yep.
but
Yep.
now they're back, and I wish I had them.
Yep.
Anyway,
And my mom just recently gave me a denim like a jacket, but not a jacket. It's like a, I don't know what they call those things. It's just like an overshirt type thing, but it buttons.
Oh,
anyway,
yes.
It's like a flannel, but it's made of denim.
Right.
Denim. I love it. And I'm like, shoot, you had this since like the 70s or 80s. I love this. Thank you.
The succulent train has been going for a couple, maybe a year and a half now. I think like truly where it's like an aesthetic for people to get succulents, but people don't know shit about succulents. People are killing their plants all the time because we don't know and we don't care. You've got like years and years and years of background experience of knowing this is how to take care of desert plants. This is how to take care of any sort of, I mean, you do a lot. I mean, I'm not sure what any of these are.
There is a ton of plants in here right now. We're prepping for tomorrow's farmer's market, so like over there. Oh, poor little guy. This thing is so cool. So all these little babies just grow off on it, and
That's a baby?
Yeah, these are little pups. So the leaf normally looks like this, but it's growing all of these plants on it right now. And I've knocked a few off, and every time I'm like, no! But then I'm like, wait a second, it's already an established plant. Like, chill out,
so
just put it on some soil.
So he's okay. So you could grow more just from these little guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're just trying to kind of find out what people
want and what they're willing to, what that breaking price point is. You know, not trying to be greedy with what we're doing.
And you're not.
No, we're
You're
constantly
very
being
affordable.
told by other businesses, like, you need to charge more money to be able to stay afloat. And it's like, yes, we do, but this also is right now, like, I don't know. It's a tough thing. I'm very price conscious in my head, and that's something actually with my other job that they've been mentoring me with is, you know, just because you have that perceived notion of what something should cost or what is a good deal does not mean that that's what the other average consumer is going to be thinking. So you have to get past that point of, I don't want to charge this because they're thinking that I'm charging too much money, when it's, you know, that actually is the cost of it, of all the labor and the maintenance. You know, we have these lights going almost all day long. So, you know, the electricity, yes, thank God electricity is cheap up here, but you know, there are all those costs of the holding costs. You know, we just built those step storage stairs, and
that's
once
labor.
we start once we start actually putting into thought of, you know, this is how much money I'm actually putting into this company, yes, these prices do make sense. Like, they're not just, random numbers I'm pulling out of a head.
So then that kind of leads me to the thought process of why I kind of made this video series, which was more about what it's like to be a woman in our business or in our fields of businesses, because yours and mine are totally different. I mean, I don't know, but
they're different, but there's a lot of things that are going to be crossing paths.
Exactly.
Right?
And knowing what you're worth is a big thing in the service industry, the beauty industry, about pricing what we do, our effort, our time, our insurance, what we cover, everything goes into that price range.
Yes.
And saying what you're worth. So you obviously have found that people are telling you need to be priced what you're worth, but you're struggling with that. Do you think that's because of like how you grew up, or do you feel like just because we're all women that we maybe don't price ourselves as high as we should, men? I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
It's a big question.
Yeah, it really is a big question. I don't know if it's like, when I go to stores and I see a succulent arrangement, I'm like, you're charging $30 for that, and it's just a couple plants. I know what the cost of those plants are to buy. How is this okay? To me, it seems like that consumerism world that we're being forced to buy into, when it's like, I can charge a lower cost, still make a fair percentage of it to actually pay myself for my work, but I don't know. I just have my husband's always telling me, like, yes, you need to pay yourself. You need to make sure that you're making what you're worth. And yeah, we've slowly been getting there.
Yeah.
We're slowly getting
well,
there.
And
it's tough.
It is tough. I feel you, because I struggle with like removals, tattoo removals. I really don't believe that somebody should pay me more than the amount that they got the tattoo for, to remove it. Especially if they're they feel sad by it, or brings back bad memories because it's like an ex or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to make you pay $300, $400, $500 just to do that. So I just do it by session, and I'm like, no, like we'll get rid of this.
Right.
So I feel you. I feel that even though there's work and there's a lot of stuff that goes into what we do, you care a lot about the people you're selling your plants to, the plants themselves, and I feel like that in relation to getting rid of someone's terrible tattoo.
yeah, it's like those that emotional connection to the person of like, I'm trying to do something good for you. This plant brings you joy. Please take it home, and if you have problems with it, tell me about it. Like, let's get you through this. And hopefully your loving of this plant will cause you to be a repeat customer, and it goes on from there. Like, hopefully it's good karma. That's I think where my mindset is with my costing structure. Is definitely a confidence thing of knowing your worth, and charge the price that you're worth.
Right. Yeah. So another thing that you and I gelled on was that we're new here in this whole Pacific Northwest.
Yes.
So tell me about how it was coming from where you are to here. What's been cool, different, a struggle?
Sure.
Kind of thing.
We've loved it up here. Like this, I really like the PNW. I think it's, in comparison, we moved from the Bay Area, in California, and in comparison to what we were dealing with, I guess I've always kind of been on the grind of working multiple jobs and trying to make as much money as I can. And it's, sure, I could do one job and do it many, many hours, and that doesn't bring me happiness. And yes, I want to make a lot of money, but I want to make a lot of money because I've worked hard and have like physically worked hard, and I can see what it is that I've produced. So in the Bay Area, I was working a couple different plant maintenance jobs. I was going around to apartment complexes and offices, watering plants.
Cool. And
it was great, but it was a grind, that's for sure, and tough to make rent when it's over double what we're now paying to live here. So I don't miss that factor of it. I really don't miss the amount of people that we lived around. Like I like space.
Okay, sorry.
No.
It does a thing because it's at 60 frames per second.
Uh-huh.
So it can only have like 20 minutes of talking, and then it has to do another one.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's start again.
Where I moved from. So something that I like about the PNW, I think that's where we kind of left off.
Okay.
Or of the transition of moving up here. I think we've been much more welcomed up here. I'm not very good at like making friends and making contacts, and moving up here has really been, yeah, it's true, like totally, but we've totally jived. Like that's been the coolest part. That's not something that would have happened or that I was experiencing happening in California. It's very, you go into your condo or your apartment or whatever your small little dwelling space was, and you shut out everyone else that's around you because everyone else has their own lives that are going on. And yes, that is true anywhere, I'm sure that you are. But I feel like up here it's been a little bit different. We've chosen to take those steps of trying to become more immersed into the community and make business contacts, make friend contacts, make, find things to do that's not just hanging out at the house. You know, which we still do a lot of because there's a lot to do.
You and I went to the Tulip Festival for an example, but honestly, there's a lot of places that I found here, especially coming from the desert, that are just completely 100% awe-inspiring. A lot of the waterfalls, the hikes. I mean, you've made Brett and his new friend are like photography people, so they totally are into that, and I'm okay being dragged along for that. And
so they geek out with that thing, and I'm able to geek out in nature and just walk around, run around, play with the water. Just sit by a waterfall and just feel those negative ions just refilling your body. Like that's I love that. I love that. I wish I had more time. I need to make more time to do more hikes and get outside and enjoy.
It is the time for that too. Well, I'll drag you to one. Okay.
All right.
So other than that, like we've talked about when you came, how it is here. Have you been finding what the business like is different here in the Pacific Northwest as opposed to California?
Yeah, there's one main difference that comes to mind when you say that is the amount of product that we presumed we were going to sell versus what reality is. And coming from California, where you go to, the one that comes to mind is the something travel show, the Adventure and Travel Show. Not sure if that's the name of it. Regardless, you go there and there's thousands of people just to check out this event that people aren't really even selling things. Anyway, though, what I'm trying to say is there's thousands of people that go to these events. Here, it's not thousands of people. It's hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So I have this concept in my mind of like go big or go home, and I'm having to hone down of wait a second, like remember where you're at. This is not where you're going to have thousands of people that all live within a 10-mile radius coming to this event. There's there's less people clearly that live here in general. So there's a
lot of regulars too, so making the connections that you mentioned before.
Yeah, and don't piss off regulars. Like that's something that I've had ingrained since See's Candy, and I've worked a lot of different retail jobs early on. It's like just don't piss off people. A phrase that always sticks in my mind is be nice to those who serve you because you never know what they'll do to your food. And it has that same thought of how you treat your community is, if you piss off one person, they're going to still tell their friends, and you're screwed from there on out. Like, be nice to everyone. That's like the whole thing that I'm most nervous of is I want to create that lasting impression and people not forget about us, because yes, we used to be at night market, but now I work on Fridays. There's no way I can work my 10-hour shift and then go do night market. Like, to me that just doesn't make good business sense, because what good is it going to be if I'm completely stressed out and working a 15 or 16 hour day gonna do like that's I don't think that's really gonna help business. I'd rather open up my home to people. Of like I get client requests all the time of, can we come over and check out your plants? I heard from one of our clients that you sell succulents, like we'd love to come check them out. And it's like, yeah, here's when I'm available, like come on by. And I think that leads into a whole nother discussion of like we definitely want to open up a storefront.
Mm-hmm.
But that's scary as shit. Like, that is a scary commitment, especially if you don't think if I personally lack the confidence of thinking, like, yeah, I can kill it in sales. Like, yeah, no, I don't know. This is a very up and down market of, people like succulents, but it's a fad item, essentially. So we'll see.
It's bad, but you've been doing it for so long that I think you can make it past that. I know that I have confidence in you to make it past, like, whatever it is that this is happening. But you ride that wave because I essentially rode the same wave of microblading. I saw that a woman did my brows, and I was like, I think I can do this too. So it was very inspiring.
Yeah.
Jumped on that. So I'm not going to lie to people and say, like, no, I created something or did anything differently. I just saw where I could be happy and wanted to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think in terms of being happy, you have to be willing to ride the wave of what services you offer, for instance, or, like what you're doing with your time. Like, sometimes it doesn't make sense for me to spend hours and hours out with the succulents and cleaning up their dead leaves if I could instead be creating ad pieces or, doing my accounting.
That's another thing that's hard owning your business, is doing everything. It's stressful. It creates those 15-hour days. So on top of that, you're having a full-time job anyway, so no wonder you don't want to deal with double the stress that same day on a Friday. Owning a business is very hard, and I know I stepped into it not fully knowing what I was doing. Do you feel kind of like,
I'm so grateful for Brett. Like, without him, it would not be possible to keep everything rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Although, actually, we made friends with this lady at Salmon Creek Farmers Market.
Mm-hmm.
She's called Edible Acres.
Ooh.
She's up in Battleground, and she's given us this plot of area to do farming in. So we have, I think it's 6 rows that are either 10 or 15 feet long. I don't remember how long they are now, but Brett and I have, like, tilled up the land, and we've put a little water irrigating system in, and we have tomatoes and peppers and lettuce and peas, corn, some sunflowers, like a whole bunch of shit. And I'm just so grateful that we met this lady at the farmers market, because now we have a place that makes more sense to grow food beyond our 2 beds in our backyard.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't get the best of actually it's okay sunlight back there, but regardless, it's cool to have the experience of growing shit on a farm, which is something that we want to do. It's like, can we handle this before we even make the initial investment? And I think that's kind of how Suburban Succulents is too. Is it's okay that it's not a full-time, always, we don't always have a pop-up market every weekend. We don't. That's just not part of my expectations of what this company is going to be right this minute with everything else that's going on. So,
what do you envision?
Eventually I'd love to have, like, a farm that has a store front at it that we can sell our food that we make or grow, things that we make, cider and beer.
Mm-hmm.
Brett just did.
They do cider. They do beer. You guys are doing a lot of things.
A lot of things. We are very, very busy. Something new that we're introducing at the farmers market is plant tags that have been 3D printed.
Ooh.
And we've done some stress tests in the sun, and they don't melt or anything like that. So
that's good.
It's kind of exciting. I'm like, oh yes, okay. And they look pretty neat. They, beetroots or lettuce or whatever the hell you're growing, you can get a little plant tag, put it in there, and it's nice.
So you want to be like the self-sufficient farm that just provides for people. And I think you guys that are from here kind of have it really good, because you can you have the life of community here, and it's not the same as where she's from or I'm from. Like, it's a sense of community that has land to it, that you guys are able to do these things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Truth.
Or, like, afford, because California, I think, is pretty
ridiculous. Yes. And I think part of it is, you were talking about how when you grew up, it's like you are the way you are because of nature, nurture, what our past influences were. And I moved around a lot as a kid, so I had never really had to we would, everywhere I moved, I would be enrolled in some sort of an activity to be able to get involved with other kids my age, or really just keeping me busy from watching TV all day, because that's literally what I used to do, is like go home after school and watch TV. And my mom was like, no, we're not doing this. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do this your whole life. So, but I've, everywhere I've moved, I've been kind of forced to be ingrained in that society or that culture. And I used to really rebel against that, but I think since moving up here, that's been something that I've really embraced. Is like, hey, I actually do need that sense of community. You can't do it by yourself. Like, you need, it takes a family, it takes I don't know what that
Support.
phrase is.
There's a lot of support that needs to happen to feel like you're moving somewhere in life, I think.
Yeah.
Because when I first got here, it was 3 months of just feeling out of sorts and trying to find somewhere that I belonged. So to be able to find the place that I eventually go to, Salon Moxie, is really good for me, and mental health wise, and business wise, and all these other wisey wise. So, I'm glad that you're able to kind of find people to make those connections, to have your envisioned future be able to get one step further every time. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And I feel everything happens for a reason. It happens when it's supposed to happen. I'm not, I just kind of want life to happen, how it's supposed to happen. And this is a very small business. We're not making very much money. Like, we're making, the money that we make literally goes back in to pay for our expenses for it. So, at this point, it's, let's see what we can establish, what comes our way, make the best it can be.
So I think that's a good place to just sort of tell everybody who's watching that, support local everybody. Support
local.
Your local plant providers. Love is a big part of it. If you love what you're doing, if you love the things you're creating or helping to grow, then it reflects in the plants.
Yes.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. You can find Suburban Succulents on the links below this YouTube video and the screen that you are currently looking at. I am sorry for the abrupt ending to this. I forgot to do the video to the outro with Suburban Succulents, and it just seemed easier to do this. Otherwise, you'll find a plant care video soon enough, maybe within the next couple of episodes. So be ready and primed for that. But just take care, and I will see you guys in the next video.